Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
Riding Raven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Woohoo!
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you, because if you didn't have enough of it, you just need that little extra cherry on top. You know, we just come in and we just provide that for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Anyways, we got a couple topics to cover today, so without further ado,
Let us jump in, beginning with The Fairly Odd Parents.
Now, we haven't really covered Nickelodeon yet on this channel.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff from our childhood we remember, including one of them being The Fairly Odd Parents.
Great show. Before they ruined it.
Yeah. And, so there was a live-action Fairly Odd Parents movie that was done at one point.
It wasn't that good.
And as you can see from the picture I made, but why? So, it kind of gives you a clue of what we're exactly going on about here. So, they've decided that even though that movie did terribly,
they are going to make a live-action Fairly Odd Parents continuation series featuring Timmy's cousin, who's also going to have Cosmo and Wanda, and the animation for the fairies are going to be exactly like the live-action movie.
Yeah, and we actually have a quote here. It says, "The Fairly Odd Parents show is a hybrid, so the fairies are animated and all the humans are live actors."
Because that went so well last time.
The Fairly Odd Parents revival will pick up years after his predecessor ended, according to the news outlet. Timmy Turner's cousin, Vivian Viv Turner, and her stepbrother, Roy Ragland, will navigate their lives in Dimsdale with their Fairly Odd Parents, Wanda and Cosmo, besides them.
Oh boy.
Okay. What is it with rebooting these kind of things, first off? And yes, this is a reboot, let's be honest, it's a reboot.
It's totally a reboot.
What is with rebooting everything in live action? Now we have Powerpuff Girls and that script was horrendous.
Eey.
And now it's like, you know what needs to be destroyed more? Your childhood!
Didn't they already do that by doing the whole Fairly Odd Parents part where there's a fairy shortage, so he has to share his fairy godparents with some other kid?
Yeah, you heard it right. They know the show is so bad at this point, they decided that they literally made it where they changed the theme song and basically made it where Timmy has to share his fairy godparents because there's a fairy shortage. Brilliant writing, right?
Nope, not brilliant at all.
But yeah, basically it's just stupid. Another example of why these things need to stop. Get original ideas.
They can't. They're creatively bankrupt and... Wait, no, their creativity doesn't even exist.
That's the problem then. If these people cannot make original characters that make shows that are actually good without having to self-insert and do all this garbage, then guess what they can do? Hire people who can.
Like me.
No, I would not let you go work for Nickelodeon.
No, I don't want to work for Hollywood anymore.
Yeah, but again, another stupid idea from another company that's, you know...
devolved.
That's a nice way of putting it, but basically, again, just goes to show you that they have no original ideas. They need to reboot and make things. Watch! Next, we're gonna get a Danny Phantom thing.
Please God, no!
They're gonna reboot Danny Phantom and they're gonna make it live action or something. That wouldn't actually be too terrible, I'm not sure about
but
live action.
But it's going to focus on Danny's clone cousin.
Well, that's what they'll do.
No, leave Danny Phantom alone.
We should not give them ideas.
No, leave Danny alone. Leave Danny and Phantom alone.
There.
What? Sam Manson was my inspiration for becoming goth.
I know, but there.
Thanks.
So with that, we move on to our next topic.
I am not Starfire.
So...
oh boy.
Yeah. We've never really gotten a chance to talk about this one on our channel. I believe we made our channel later
We
after
did make
this.
it after this. But even when we didn't have a channel, I still had quite a few things to say about this.
So basically, I Am Not Starfire, for those of you who don't know yet, is made by this random woman, I forget her name.
Mariko Tamaki.
Yeah, and as you can see, she is pictured on the right. And she decided that they're going to hire her to make a character that's a daughter of Starfire, but the book's called I'm Not Starfire because, as you can see, she looks nothing like Starfire. But you know who she does look like?
Penguin.
Yeah, but she also looks like Mariko.
Self-insert much? I hate self-inserts.
Yeah, and so this thing is supposed to be about how she's not Starfire and she hates her mom and whatever. It's been ratioed to heck? It was already panned once, and then they re-announced it again. They turned off comments on the video, and they turned off the comments on the tweet.
But they didn't turn off the quote tweets.
And yeah, I think it's over like 3,000 of them now.
Probably more.
And we've taken a look through all of them.
None of them are positive.
No, none of them.
I mean...
DC, we know you want to pander and virtue signal. We get it. Did no one look at this and think, maybe there's a problem here?
I sure did. I mean, especially when they said this character was going to be goth. I am a goth. That on the screen there on the left is not. That's an emo. There is a distinction and a big difference. So I was very upset when they said that was a goth because that is a misrepresentation of my subculture. Where is my subculture representation, Hollywood?
Well, that, and also, if she was daughter of Starfire, wouldn't she have red hair?
Apparently it's dyed.
As a redhead, where's my representation, Hollywood?
Yeah, seriously.
Also, it's funny because it's like, if I don't give her glasses, they'll never notice.
Reverse Clark Kent. No.
We notice.
We see through it.
It's just, again, another example, and this is like the new Warriors, which never came out. This should not come out either. And the fact that they're turning off the comments and stuff preemptively just goes to show you they know it's going to do terribly.
They know it's garbage.
And they're continuing to put it out anyways. You'd think if you know something's going to be bad...
You wouldn't do it.
Don't put it out there.
Yeah, you would think, but of course they're not going to do that because that would make sense.
Keyword being think, which they don't seem to do much of.
Yeah.
Self-insert, yes. I don't get this concept. If you cannot create an original character with unique traits and personality, and the only way that you can make a character is to make them you, then you should not be in the business making these characters.
I agree. As a writer, I do give some of my characters qualities of myself, but I don't make my characters me. I don't do self-inserts ever. I just give them some of my traits. It's a lot better that way. Believe me.
Yes, it is. And those books are interesting to read. This, already looking at it, is not visually appealing.
No.
And it's gonna be like about how she's gay for a classmate and how she's angry with her mom because she doesn't want her mom to find out that she failed her SATs. Oh no!
Superhero parents don't really care about, and Starfire probably doesn't even know what that test is.
All I want to say is Starfire, when did you get it on with the Penguin?
That's what everyone wants to know.
That's the comic I want to know about. Screw the rest of this. Let me tell me about that, because I don't know what that is.
But it's not Starfire's child.
It's definitely not human, but since Starfire's technically not human, I guess we can kind of say that's true.
Yeah.
But like, no.
No, just no.
No.
Give us the real daughter of Starfire and Dick Grayson, please.
They won't do that, honey, because that would be something that we'd actually want, and they know better than we do.
Ugh.
All right, moving on from here.
We have Kang the Conqueror.
I am Kang the Conqueror, or in this universe, Clang the Panderer. Yeah.
Seriously.
So as you can see, I made a little fun thing. It says consume product, and it has
the death of comic book fans and comic accuracy.
And as you can see, it's Jonathan Majors. Now, Jonathan Majors in the Loki series is now Kang the Conqueror.
A very, very horrible rendition of Kang.
And look, I have no problem with them casting someone, you know, it's not about race or anything like that.
No.
It's the fact of the simple concept of comic book accuracy. I understand you're not going to make it 100% comic book accurate. But I get that.
At least paint his face blue.
Come on! Like, that was literally Kang's iconic look, is you paint his face blue. You can't even do that? You can't even do that!
No, because that would be Blueface.
I don't know anymore. This is just ridiculous. And they don't care, and they want us to like it, and then when we dare to say anything to them, it's, we're bad and they're good.
Every time. When does it end?
It doesn't end, because they'll continue to... I've analyzed this situation, and through talking with some people, I've come up with a conclusion to why they do this.
Why?
There's a couple reasons. One is that they want it to be a shield. So if it doesn't do well, they can blame the fans. You're terrible fans, and you should have done better, and you should know better. Bad, bad, bad. It's not our movie. We did great. Or, for the reason they keep doing it, my only thought, and the only thing I've come up with, which, again, makes no logical sense, so it's not that much of a shock, is that they feel like they're not being inclusive and diverse enough. That if they just add more, just a little bit more, just the right amount, the magical audience that they're trying to find will magically appear. If you're noticing that whenever you do this stuff, there's a large majority of people who don't like it, wouldn't you think it's a smart idea to stop it?
You would think so, but they don't think, remember?
Yes. But it's ridiculous that we live in this world where this is okay to do, and it's like, okay, blame the fans, attack the fans online, it's okay, you're allowed to. But if you say the wrong thing to the wrong people, to the wrong minority, that's it, you're done. Marvel has done pretty well with their renditions of certain characters.
Mostly.
And then lately, it's been terrible.
Yeah, they've just decided to stop caring.
They didn't care to begin with. They wanted money. You could tell that up until, Endgame, things were okay. Afterwards, we heard all this stuff, all this different marketing, and again, if you want this stuff to be normalized and you want to push this stuff, you wouldn't have to market around it.
That's true.
Do you ever hear them saying, we have a white character in this movie?
No.
We have a white character. We have a straight character.
No.
Do you know why? 'Cause it's weird.
And also 'cause no one cares.
And yet, it's like, we have a black person in this movie. We have a sexually non-binary giraffe in this movie.
Don't insult giraffes!
I don't know anymore. It's just...
Poor giraffes.
It's just like, it's weird. Stop it. Get some help.
Please.
But yeah, obviously, we didn't watch Loki. We're not planning to. Don't like it. Doesn't really matter to me. But I am a big fan of Kang. I think they should have introduced him at the end of Endgame in a post-credit scene.
I completely agree, because they screwed up with the timeline, and Kang hates it when people screw up with the timeline.
And it would have been a good kind of segue into other things, but of course, that would require, smart thinking and
good story writing.
And we all know that Marvel is no longer capable of that.
True.
For the most part. There are exceptions, but for the most part, no.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Next on our list, we have...
Task Mistress.
And as you can see, a bestest ever woman power. Because, of course, we have the person who plays this character, who has a crazy name that I will not even attempt to pronounce, is saying all these kind of really stupid things that she obviously doesn't know about, and if you actually knew the character you were playing, you'd understand why people were upset.
Yeah.
She's upset that people are saying that they don't like that it's a woman, and her logic is, it does fit this story, and she was concentrating on the story. And the decisions weren't made by her, but she's happy because it involved her.
Makes no sense.
Ego much?
Oh, yeah.
And then, wait for it, this is the best part. Next, and again, her name is Kurilenko.
However you pronounce it.
Claims the gender swap is irrelevant. While I understand that they swap gender, but I think it's irrelevant, really, whether the character is male or female, because who cares?
The fans care.
If that's your response to when someone gives you legitimate criticism, like, hey, this character is male, and we really liked it as male, why did they change it? It could be female because who cares?
You idiots.
And she says, she's just as strong, maybe even stronger.
Blech.
And it's not about what gender you are, it's what capabilities you are and what you can do and how well you're supposed to do it. And if you're excellent at it, it doesn't matter who you are. First off, let me full stop here. Your version of the Taskmaster is not more powerful than the one in the comics. Let's be honest, because the one in the comics didn't need technology to make themselves the Taskmaster.
And a badass.
Second thing is, are you sure you want to say that? It's not about what gender you are? Really? Because we all know that throughout the entire movie, except for one small scene...
that Taskmaster was played by a man.
Wait a minute! And you just told us that gender doesn't matter.
It only doesn't matter when it's a female being portrayed.
It must not matter because you were a male during the whole movie, and then you got your head badly CGI photoshopped onto it, And guess what?
We could all tell.
And nobody liked it. There were like 5 people who liked it. The rest were like, why did you destroy the Taskmaster?
And those 5 people are sock puppet accounts.
And guess what? It wasn't a big twist. It wasn't something that no one saw coming.
We all
predicted it. We all predicted it ages before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Ages.
As soon as they started saying that it had a feminist agenda, we knew.
Look, I don't plan to see this movie.
No.
We haven't seen it.
Nope.
And we don't plan to.
No.
Because here's the thing. I may have given it a chance if it wasn't for the fact that all of these articles and stuff coming out saying how it makes men scream. It does. Again, it's weird. Let me reword this and let me see if you guys think this is weird or not. This is a man movie. It makes women scream. I guarantee if someone put out an article like that, how long would it stay up?
Not long.
Guess why?
Because it's insulting to women.
But it's okay to say, this article, this movie passes the Bechdel test, which
Whatever
is not...
that is.
It's not a legitimate test, so yeah, good luck with that. Passes the test and makes men scream.
Which is insulting to men, but they don't care because it's men.
No, and also because we're not allowed to comment on it, because if we do, we hate strong women, obviously.
These women aren't
Let me make this very clear. You guys are not Captain America, but yet you use more shields than he does.
Ouch.
Literally, you use more shields than he does.
Not bad.
And he's literally known for his shield.
They use more shields than Naofumi in Shield Hero.
That was pretty good, but I think mine was pretty funny.
Yeah, it relates to Marvel, not anime.
Anyways, but again, it's just like, again, another example of why you guys continue to fail.
And lose money.
But it's okay, as long as you put a strong whammon in the title, right? That way, if it fails, you can blame the fans, right? Because we're all sexist and misogynist, this, right?
Even the women who don't like what you're doing. Me.
What?
I'm female. I don't like what you're doing.
Oh, you're obviously an internalized misogynist.
How can I be an internalized misogynist when I myself am a woman?
When you ask people that, when they tell you that online, guess what they do?
They block you.
But yeah, again, another example of strong whammon equals shield equals fan bad, blah, 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 get new material.
Seriously.
Not just in your... we're not talking about your movies, Marvel, because you can have plenty of material there. And you can literally use that material. Stop making new ones here. But in regards to your ways of defending yourself, get new material. Because that shield's looking mighty thin there. Next topic.
Star Wars Visions. Which, the trailer looked awesome, I will say that. But now we are being told that it's a continuation and takes place after Rise of Skywalker.
So, let me be very clear. When it's saying it's a continuation, it's not necessarily saying that it's going to continue after the actual Rise of Skywalker, and it's also not going to necessarily be canon, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But it's going to be set after the events of the Rise of Skywalker, and whether it's a parallel timeline, not canon, blah, 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 nobody likes the sequel trilogy. And I want to be very clear when I say nobody. I'm saying that nobody was 100% happy with the sequel trilogy.
That is true.
Let's be honest. Even people who liked the first movies or whatever, or liked The Last Jedi, didn't like how it ended and weren't satisfied. And you continue to go back to this well of characters, which is very shallow, when you have a whole wide variety of characters just from the movies. And if you want to take from the EU, which you seem to love doing. But your genius idea is, you know what would be great? Let's make a Star Wars anime, and let's make it about the Rise of Skywalker. Set after the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, because that's going to go over well.
Did you want to lose money? Because you're doing it.
Apparently.
And as you can see, Star Wars Visions with Rey looking annoyed. And again, I understand this isn't canon, so it might not be as big of a deal. But why would you go back to that? You see how it's received. It's not received well. If you're going to do this show, the best way forward is to do something different, separate.
They can't, because that would require brain power. And
but they have good people here working on this.
True, but it's still the Lucasfilm Story Group.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so much for that.
Yep.
I wasn't really planning on watching it anyways, but
It would have been nice to have some good Star Wars again.
Nah, I wasn't planning on watching it anyways. Honestly, when Luke tossed his lightsaber over his shoulder, that was it for me.
Sigh.
That was it. And it doesn't matter how many times they pander and do whatever to try to make us feel better, it's not going to work on me. Because you bent the knee once, you'll do it again. Yeah. And you've just shown you were plenty capable of doing so. And I'm not interested. There's plenty of stuff you can rip off that would be 10 times better than any of this crap. But of course, there's no source material, right?
But speaking of Star Wars...
I have a bad feeling about this.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's show has some news.
And as you can see, I wonder why he has a bad feeling, honey. Do you have any inclination why he might?
It looks like there's an evil entity behind him.
Where?
Right there in the window.
Oh no, it's Kathleen Kennedy. No one was shocked.
No.
So, a couple things coming about this show. Look, I liked the idea of this show, but I knew they were going to ruin it.
Oh, we all knew.
And a couple of things that have been coming out is one, that they have Darth Vader in it, and other Jedis.
Which makes no sense because Darth Vader and Obi-Wan aren't actually supposed to meet again until A New Hope, and all the Jedi are pretty much supposed to be dead.
I could understand if they wanted to make certain Jedis who survived the Purge come to seek out Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But isn't the whole point of him being, like, exiled is to hide his existence from Darth Vader and the Emperor so that he can raise Luke and Leia?
Yeah.
Wouldn't people being able to find him kind of break that?
It would, yes.
Whatever. I could see them doing that. I wouldn't be too upset about that, but this next part was what upset is they have a young Luke and a young Leia they're casting, and they mentioned that the show's rumored to be very much centered around the relationship between Obi-Wan and young Leia.
Which makes no sense because Leia is supposed to be living on Alderaan, not Tatooine.
And also, hate to break it to you, none of that happened.
No.
I know you can't help yourself when you see Stronk Whammon and you want to make a show about Stronk Whammon. But I'm going to tell you something. It's very, very easy to understand. Listen closely. Mm-hmm. We don't care. We don't want it. It's not canon, and you can continue to say that it is, but do you even pay attention to your own canon? You literally retcon your own stuff, Disney Lucasfilm.
Like Lucasfilth, remember?
Yes. Disney Lucasfilm, you literally retcon your own stuff.
Yes.
And you're going to do this knowing full well that this will be ruining parts of things. You want to do a flashback battle with him, or maybe like in a Force cave. I could see that.
Yes.
You want to have some Jedis find him? Okay, fine.
You want to have him interact with young Luke? That I can see.
But, like, Leia's not even there.
Leia's on an entirely different planet at that point in time.
What? And
you idiots!
And Obi-Wan's not supposed to leave the planet. That's the whole point. He's exiled to protect Luke. Do you guys not know this?
No, they didn't because they weren't paying attention.
No, it's because they didn't watch it. Remember, just like Leslie Headland said, she hired someone who didn't even watch it. Look at they are brother and sister. What?
What idiots?
You hired someone who doesn't know what they're talking about? What?
They do that all the time these days. That's why everything sucks now.
And again, I wasn't planning on watching this again. As I said, Star Wars is pretty much dead for me. The only thing I do now is poke fun at it. My wife may feel a bit differently about Star Wars, but I personally just don't care.
Yeah, I do like the Clone Wars.
I didn't mind the Clone Wars either, but I'm not planning to finish it. And again, I just don't care anymore. I just don't care. Yeah. I do not care. They've ruined it for me, and I have to let go of it because if I continue to hold on to it with the hope that it will be fixed, every time it gets more destroyed, I will feel it even a small bit more. So I let go of it when I saw the signs, and I don't regret it.
We move on to our final thing.
Alright, so now we have we're at the diagnosis of the week. Now this diagnosis is going to be a bit different than usual because this is not actually a real diagnosis. It's not one I made up, but it is one that people tried to push back in the day at around 2012, and it didn't stick. But I think it's a very good term, and I think, hell with it, let's bring it back.
So tell us what this week's diagnosis is.
So the diagnosis of the week is functional stupidity.
And please explain that to us.
So, functional stupidity is the inability or unwillingness to use cognitive and reflective capacities on anything other than narrow and circumspect ways. Basically meaning that these people feel the need to like only do things their way, narrow-mindedness, they don't not need justification, they don't bring, reasoning, none of it. And that goes to show for exactly what Hollywood has become these days. Oh, canon is the worst thing that blocks us from doing what we want to do. Canon is why you have a job. But whatever. And they don't care, they don't listen to fans, and so they basically are, in effect, being functionally stupid.
Pretty much.
So I feel like functional stupidity fits really well here.
I agree.
Let us know what you think. Do you agree with us? Let us know in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will get charged.
But yeah, as I said, that's about all for this week.
Follow us both on Twitter at Master of the TDS and at Writing Raven 2. Follow me on Wattpad at Gothic Writer 613 for well-written stories that are actually good. And we will see you next week.
Gothic Therapy, out.